Hi, and welcome back. In this lecture, we will go over why there is a need to use a tool such as story mapping and how it impacts customer journey mapping. Story mapping will help us to do two things. One, it will help us to identify the main stages and the steps of the customer journey, which is exactly what we're looking for. And two, as a bonus, it will help us to prioritize features and identify the minimum viable product, also known as the MVP of the offering. Now, I hear you thinking, okay, story mapping is a good tool to identify the stages and the steps of the journey, but why is there a need to know about this MVP thing? Now, the MVP is just about prioritizing features and not about creating journeys, right? Well, yeah, that is partially correct, but I do believe that as a service designer, you should also know about the concepts such as the MVP and the Agile development framework. And here's my reasoning. If you want to stand out as a service designer, you need to be able to envision the ideal customer experience, also known as the target concept. But you also need to define how to get to that ideal experience. In other words, how do we get to that destination? What are the intermediary steps that are required? And here I hear you thinking again, why is there a need for intermediary steps? Can't we just go directly to the target? Unfortunately, the answer is no. When immediately trying to go for the target, companies often face important constraints, such as long development lead times, budget and capacity constraints, high IT risks due to delivering big monolithic pieces of software with lots of uncertainty, and the most important one for a service designer is that we get late customer feedback. You are simply in the dark for too long, and you don't know whether you're building the thing right or even the right thing. So for these reasons, it's important to work with smaller product increments, which are developed and delivered to customers on an iterative and frequent basis. That way we can check if we are building the right thing and also building it right as we go along. And that's exactly what story mapping helps us to do. It helps us to identify small product increments and build a roadmap towards the target concept that is visualized in the customer journey map. The first product increment is also called the MVP. This is the first increment that we want to deliver to our customers as it provides them with a sufficient amount of value, and we can already capture their feedback early on. We can use this feedback to further notch and adapt the next increments and make our way up to the target as a whole. What are now the story mapping prerequisites to bear in mind? There's 4 of them. Story mapping is a collaborative exercise, so you should involve multiple experts in a workshop in order to enrich the customer journey map as much as possible. If you want to know more about how to conduct workshops, I have a course on requirement elicitation that covers just that. Don't hesitate to check it out. Now, let's get back on topic. The next prerequisite in story mapping is to always have the customer journey on your mind. However, you don't have to bring real customers in, since you have something that closely resembles one. Of course, I'm talking about the persona. So don't forget to bring in the persona to the workshops and make sure that everybody is aware of its characteristics. Another prerequisite is to include qualitative and quantitative research data in the exercise where possible. Remember that research-based customer journeys are preferred above assumption-based customer journeys. If you have data that you can share with the participants of the workshop, you should definitely do so. It will only improve the quality of the exercise. And finally, you have to keep in mind that story mapping does not account for the other building blocks in the customer journey map. You can decide to add these blocks in the same view as the story map or in a separate view. It's really up to you. Voila. I hope that I was able to convince you of why we need story mapping to create our customer journey. In the next lecture, I will go over how to create a customer journey map using story mapping techniques. Hope to see you there.